If Footmen Tire You, What Will Horses Do is a 1971 American Christian exploitation horror film, according to Wiki, and I'm inclined to agree. It was written and directed by Ron Ormond and features the once prolific Southern Baptist minister Estus Pirkle. Oh boy, here's a doozy. I didn't know how bad I needed Christian apocalyptic exploitation movies in my life, but I think it's literally my new favorite genre. Does not get better than this. I don't think I've ever reviewed anything remotely like this, and actually, I don't think I've ever even seen anything like it. But I do want to see more. So yeah, this is the beginning of a new era of Eli. To be fair, movies like this are still being made under the Angel Studios banner. They're just more tactful about it these days. I'll try and pull the band-aid off early and hopefully painlessly, because I'm not great at watching my mouth and watching what I say. I kind of have a reputation for that. But I hate religion. I fucking hate it for the damage that it continues to do. But I guess I've grown up at least a little bit, and I've learned to accept religious people that are good people. And I'm saying all this because I might say some offensive shit here, but it's not you that I have a problem with. It's just your religion. I mean, the U.S. has a proud, long history of these kinds of propaganda films, going all the way back probably almost 100 years at this point. Some of the most famous examples even were made by Disney. So conceptually, this movie is kind of cool. Like this might have made a more traditional type horror movie and not a propaganda film to scare Christians. And I say that because it is based on a very apocalyptic sermon by Estus W. Pirkle. We've adapted books, comic books, stage plays, and apparently now sermons with this film. Again, a wild concept, and I do kind of love it. So Pirkle meets an exploitation filmmaker named Ron Ormond, who had already directed 19 films by 1971. Okay. Ormond had actually just survived a plane crash at one point, and instead of being happy about that, he became a Christian instead. This is a batshit crazy movie made by batshit crazy people that were afraid of communism despite living in a country far, far away from any of it. The entire 52-minute runtime is narrated by Estus Pirkle as he makes ridiculous claims like how the communists had a plan to take over the U.S. That would only take 15 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that couldn't happen nowadays, but in 1971, I don't know. I'm not sure. And the entire film is about what he thought would happen after a communist takeover, which is basically communist military soldiers hunting down Christians, of course. And the communist army soldiers here are basically just Nazis and seem to be either Cuban or Russian, and are totally hilarious. It's just scene after scene of them stumbling into the local Christians' houses, literally, sometimes drunk, and hanging them, shooting them. There's even a scene where a kid gets beheaded. Definitely didn't see that coming. So yeah, this isn't your average movie by any means, but it does have sort of a side plot with a woman that although it seems like she doesn't want to be there, she shows up at the church where Estus Pirkle's giving his sermon, and he is also simultaneously doing a eulogy for her mom, whose dying wish was that she would come to church and become a Christian and not a filthy heathen. And I'll leave it to you to, find out what choices she makes, but it's a propaganda film, so you can probably guess. And I'm just going to judge this movie as pure exploitation horror, and I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 4 stars. Dude, if you just want some insane, low-budget, over-the-top violence that only could, exist in a movie like this, I can't imagine you having friends over and not just having an absolute dystopian fever dream blast through the eyes of someone taught to fear everything that they don't understand. It's 2026 now in the U.S. We were never taken over by communists, although things are looking pretty dire now, not in the way of communism. This film was pretty much unavailable until recent years, so if you want to check it out, apparently you can stream it for free on Nicholas Winding Refn's website. He's a Danish, I think, director. That's what Wikipedia says anyways, but if you want to buy it, along with the other films Ron Ormond did with Estus Pirkle, you can actually get the box set from Australian label Indicator. I think it's like a 3-film set. I think it was 3 films that they did together. But I don't have that yet, but I definitely plan on getting it because it's just, you gotta have it.
Will you come? Will you come?
Cheers, guys. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Subscribe right now, please.